What's up, folks? It's the Jeremy Scott Program, episode 2. Here we are, following through with things. So, a little what's up with the poor? I've learned a really good gauge on how your local economy is doing is to go on Facebook Marketplace. Specifically try to sell things on Facebook Marketplace. So I'm doing some spring, it's the middle of the summer and I'm doing spring cleaning, whatever. But usually I post things up and I got a good sense of like, okay, this is what someone may pay for this, and I'll bring that price down just a little bit to make it fast, get it done. But I learned a lot of lessons this time. You don't know everything. I posted a bunch of stuff out of my shed. Nobody was biting, and I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. Maybe we'll wait till payday. Payday goes by. People still aren't biting. So I go on, I adjust my prices, and then I notice something. All of the local classified groups on Facebook, people are posting random stuff like ashtrays and like mugs, like not even like cool mugs, just mugs. And then I'm like, uh-oh, we're all selling our stuff right now. We're all trying to get a little bit of scratch together. It's not good. It's not good. And then I notice people that I know personally, they're posting random stuff like mugs. And then they see me posting my random stuff. Like I posted a bike frame, this old mountain bike that I had from forever ago that I stripped parts off of, and it was just hanging in my shed forever. And I was in that like frenzy of like, you know what? It's either going in the trash or I'm posting it up for sale, or I have to like love this to keep it. Somebody said that once, if you don't love it, get rid of it. If a baby could shit on it and then you would be like, I'm not cleaning that off, it's not worth keeping. That whatever, that doesn't matter. Anyway, so I'm like, all right, I'll finally get rid of this bike frame that's been hanging there forever. Nobody's gonna use it in my household. Nobody wants it in my house. So I'm like, cool. Post the bike frame up. First mistake. I knew that like the parts and everything together. I was like, realistically, somebody could pay $40 for this and not feel like they're wasting their money. But I was in a moment of like fogginess. I don't know why. I posted it for $15. Should have posted it for 20. Now that I know the marketplace people, I should have posted it for 20 because somebody's going to be like, "Hey man, can you bring a 5 to break a 20?" And then I'm just like, I should have just charged 20 for it. That's not the point. Either way, I post this bike frame up for $15. Just like, get rid of it. I want it gone. The amount of trash that is messaging me for this $15 bike frame, and not just like messaging, like questions. Is it still got the derailleur hanger on it? I'm like, this picture is the picture, and I'm sitting there I'm like doing work at this point, and I'm like telling these people, and this is why I have a low star rating on Marketplace, because I don't hold back if somebody's being a dumbass, and I'm just like, it's $15, man, just take it or leave it. Anyways, this kid messages me. Oh, I spoiled that. Anyways, there was this guy, he's messaging me. At first, he's just like, hey, would you take 10 for it? And then spams me with a bunch of pictures of like video games and like old stuff like Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty. Great game. I don't need it. I have it. I don't need it. And so I'm just like, nah, I just would rather the $15. He's like, can you deliver to my place? And then I like clarified where it was. I'm like, okay, that's like 10 minutes from here. Yeah, I can go out at 8. I'm going out to get groceries anyways. That's how I justified it. Like, I'm not using the gas. I'm going out anyways. So the more that he messaged me back, I started to be like, God, this guy's just some 30 or 40-year-old junkie. I already spoiled it because this is live. I'm not making no edits. I'm not recutting this. But at first, I thought this guy's like a junkie living in his basement. We have plenty of them around, and they love old bicycles. I don't know what it is. Like, they just love old junk bicycles. So anyways, this guy's like, yeah, I'll meet you at the end of this street. I'm like, okay, sure. I'm going to bring the hunting knife with me. That was the plan. Just checking if I'm still recording. Yeah, I'm still recording. I was like, I'm going to bring the hunting knife with me, keep that under the seat. I'm not getting robbed for a $15 bicycle, but I'd really like the $15. So anyways, yeah, so I show up to the road, and I'm like psyching myself up as I'm getting there. Like if there's a group of these like homeless junkies, not even gonna bother. $15 isn't worth it. If it's just like a lone couple junkies, fine. I'll show up, lock all the doors minus the one that I'm getting the bike frame out of. I got the knife there, good to go. And then I come around the corner, just like psyched up, like, yeah, I could fight somebody off. It's been a long time since I've been in a scrap, but I could hold my own, I think. And then I come around the corner, and it's like a 15-year-old kid, a fat kid. Like he's got titties. He remind me of a friend that I used to hang out with in middle school. That he was a little pudgy, and then we'd go swimming together, and I'd get a little hyper and be like, go up and honk. And he didn't like that. His dad got really upset at me one time for doing that. Either way, no, but it's just this little fat kid, like this little, like, you know, like the Jonah Hill character from Superbad. That's literally what he looked like. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm getting all like psyched up. I'm gonna go to jail for this $15. It's like, oh, okay, fine. Just knife goes back under the seat. Hey, what's up, kiddo? And then he pulled out his little purse thing, and he had like $50 in there, and he had fives and all this stuff too. So I'm sitting there, I was like, why did I make that extra stop? I should have just posted it for $20. Either way, that's where we're at right now in Little New Brunswick, is bringing a knife to a Facebook Marketplace meet, hoping you don't end up dying for $15. Post it for 20. That's all I'm saying. If it's not worth 20, just get rid of it. Had this fly around this. I seriously spent 10 minutes before filming this trying to get this fly. There he is on my light. Bastard. Here you are, buddy. You're in the makings of history here. This is the second episode of the Jeremy Scott program. Coming a long way. And that's my co-host. You know, I don't have a producer. I'm the only one here. It's me and the Fly. We're doing a show together, me and Flyboy. Yeah. Just to give some context, because if the flannel's not Canadian enough, less than 10 feet from me, my snowmobile, it's a 30-year-old snowmobile. I need to replace the headlight in it because I was like playing with the golf ball in the club in here the other day, and I whacked it and took the headlight out as the original headlight. Damn it. So yeah, less than 10 feet. I got my 30-year-old snowmobile, and less than 5 feet from me, I have an engine from a 1976 Ski-Doo TNT. It's a 340 engine. It's got a nice clutch on. If you're interested, just hit in the comments. I didn't want to post it because I don't want to deal with the people anymore. But if you're watching and you're like, hey, I'd love an old snowmobile engine that I probably can't. It's got a new crank. That's about it. Yeah. I got duped there the other day. Bad on the internet. I'm online scrolling, and I see this video of these animals fleeing the Yellowstone Park. I'm sitting there. I was like, I thought Yellowstone was already canceled. I thought Kevin Costner and Taylor Sheridan had that out, and that show was done. But the national park, Yellowstone, there's a volcano there. That's like the big doomsday thing. It's like that thing's gonna go off. Anyways, and then I started watching more videos about it, and people are like, actually, it's not going to end the world. It's just going to take out most of America. All of the normal, sane people, well, depending on where your leanings are, basically California and New York would be the only thing left, according to this map. And Florida, so we got a little bit of crazy left and a lot of, like, uppity crazy. But all, like, the normal people, like the ones that could actually come and, like, fix your outlet or, like, get your car going, they'll be gone. They'll be gone. And then I just before the show, because I had a whole segment talking about Mother Nature and Yellowstone, and yeah, it was fake. It's like they're not animals aren't fleeing the Yellowstone Park, I guess. So I'm just the big old dummy. Big old dummy. And I told people, now I got to, like, go back to them and either own it or just, like, let it go and let them find on their own. Animals aren't leaving Yellowstone. Jeremy, no credibility at all. So the last episode, I talked about the doctors and the clinics. And I talked about, like, AI doctors replacing us and how cool it'll be to, like, go in instead of, like, not having a doctor. You could have, like, this AI computer guy, and you walk in and you don't know what you got, but then you see Wilfred Brimley AI on the screen. You're like, I got diabetes, I guess. So anyways, I went to the clinic there the other day, got a good doctor. Shout out to the lady who had the mask on. I forget your name. It was something. she was great. She was great because the last time that I went to the clinic was like a month and a half ago. I've had an ear infection for 4 months now. Anybody who knows me is constantly hearing this. Huh? What? Because I can't hear. Anyways, it's all cleared out now. It's great. I went and saw this doctor a month ago at the same clinic, and the dude's just like doesn't give a shit. I don't know if he's sitting there thinking like, I don't know, I forgot to cancel the browser's membership. Oh, this guy, yeah, whatever. Give you antibiotic. You got a nasal infection. I would whatever with the ear. I took the antibiotics. Didn't do anything. Still waking up every morning. My ears are just plugged, and I can't hear anything. So then finally, I was like, all right, I'm going back to the clinic. I'm going to exaggerate my symptoms just a little bit. That's how you get medical care in Canada now, is you got to be like, I can't breathe. I can't see. I'm dizzy. I'm going to collapse, which is kind of true, but wasn't totally true. Anyways, I went back to the clinic and got a doctor. She was great. She referred me to a specialist. This specialist I was on the waiting list for a year for. And then they're like, we'll get you in there tomorrow. So for a day, I'm like, oh, no. I'm in trouble. I'm in big, big trouble. 1 year waiting list? Nope, we'll see you tomorrow. Anyways, worked out good. They just had to like, I guess I had a swimmer's ear infection where it's just like, just like culture was brewing in there. I don't know. It's kind of like a brewery going on inside my ears. It's disgusting, but it's gone now. I could hear. Like the other day, for the first time in the morning, I went out and had my coffee in the front yard. I could hear the birds. And it's not like I was completely deaf. It was just like certain frequencies I couldn't pick up. Like when I started the car, I actually heard the starter on my car for the first time in forever. I was like, oh shit, I forgot that starter made a sound. But like I could hear like, really crummy comedians at open mics, bombing. I could hear that. But I couldn't hear the starter and I couldn't hear the birds. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, the hearing's back. It's good. Anyway, so I'm sitting in the doctor's like little room there because like the clinic, they got all these little rooms you go into, and the room that I was in was right by the front desk area where everybody comes in and they're like, I got this wrong, and the lady's just like, yeah, triage right there, go to triage. And we don't need the AI bots. I mean, most of these people working in the medical industry, they're AI bots already. Like, people are literally coming in and being like, yeah, I'm having trouble breathing, my chest hurts. And the person's just like, yeah, is your phone number still, Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, the doctor had me on some medication. I think it might have been making it worse. Yeah, is your address still here? Perfect. Yeah, if you just want to have a seat in the room, and we'll see the triage nurse. Yeah, it was just, I remember when I went in there, I didn't even really go in there to get checked again. I just wanted to find out who they'd referred me to so I could call that doctor's office myself and be like, hey, this is getting worse. When can I get in to see you, the specialist? And then the lady's just like, triage is right there. She like wouldn't even listen to me, and I'm like, no. I know the routine. You gotta shovel them through. We're just getting them along the line. Yeah, wait till we have an AI doctor. Just something. I don't care what they identify as. Just give the care. All right. We have free healthcare. I know it's free. It's not free, but let's just get the healthcare. One of these times. It's kind of fitting. I just started this show, and a big inspiration for me a long time ago. It's gonna sound like the biggest cliche, but Stephen Colbert. Big inspiration for me to want to be like, you know what? I love, making fun of politics and making fun of the happenings of the world. He's done. Colbert is done. Took a little longer than probably should have. Now, when I'm saying Colbert, I don't mean late night Colbert. I mean like the original Colbert. Like I remember in 2005, the summer before high school, sitting in my room, and one of the only times that I'd be sitting in my room and not holding on to my cock is when Stephen Colbert would come on. And I'm not even going to pretend like I liked Jon Stewart. I thought The Daily Show was boring. I literally just watched The Daily Show just to kill the time until Colbert's show came on right afterwards. Now, looking back, I like Stewart. He's He's all right. But I loved the Colbert Show. I loved that character that he did. It was great. Great. Cliche point I'm making right now. But it's done. It's finally done. I mean, it's like the cat that's just been dying for years, and then finally they're like, all right, we're going to take it to the vet now. And everybody's like, finally, I'm tired of holding this dead cat every time I come to your house. It's done. The cat's been done for a long time. Colbert is done. I know there's so many people coming out now like, Trump is beer. It's done. The show was done. It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny when it started, and it really wasn't funny when you had like the fake needle people coming out, like the people dressed as needles, and they're like, you gotta get the vaccine because you're a tool. Get the vaccine because you're a tool. It was done. The show's done. Thank God it's done. Young me, good. I'm glad Colbert was there. I let go of my cock for a minute and watch some actual entertainment while I was in my home. It was good. It was a good show. Rest in peace. I'll take it from here, Steven. I got it from here. I am uncorruptible. I have no sponsors. If you saw my studio, you'd be like, yeah, this guy's got no money. I have 19 cents in my bank account until I get my next paycheck. Which, by the way, I need to get to our sponsor. The sponsor of the show today is the air that I breathe. If only by the air that I breathe I can podcast. Yeah, just the oxygen. The show today is brought to you by the fact that we still have breathable air. It's good. People say that my province, New Brunswick, is just trees. Well, the trees are giving us the air, and then I can send this off into the ether. Thank God for the air. That's our main sponsor today. The show is brought to you by that, and you guys just click in the show. Click in the link, and then maybe hitting the like button. I don't care. Like and subscribe. Do whatever you're going to do. Just don't show up to a marketplace meet and knife some fat kid with titties. God. The within a minute, I just went from being like, I'll knife a junkie to save my life, to like, oh, he's got titties. Oh, and he's riding a bike, though. Good for him. You know how many fat kids are sitting at home playing video games, and this guy's like, I'm going to buy a used bike frame. And then I could tell by the bike that he was on, that was kind of a crummy frame, but he had like good wheels and stuff, so he's going to be able to make a good bike. Good for that fat kid. Love it. Yeah, so we got Colbert is done. The doctors, we need doctors in Canada. We definitely need doctors. I'm going to get a little personal here for a moment here. For a little bit. I got to get personal. Had some big developments in my life recently. My father's been declining. He's older. My dad was born at the end of World War II. And if you're looking at me, you're like, you don't look like you're that old. I'm not that old. My dad was out there slinging cock in his 50s. Just getting it in there, just living. I wasn't supposed to happen. Truly. You want some history of the Jeremy Scott program? Maybe this is years in the future and I'm a big hit. Maybe. And you're like going back and you're watching through the archives and you're like, I'm going to learn more about this guy. Here's a little tidbit. My dad did not want to have a child. He did not intend on having a child. My mother was not intending on having a child. They were both just out there feeding some dopamine addiction. Little bit of a tidbit. When I was young and I was digging through my dad's dresser looking for like cigarettes and porno mags, I stumbled across a pile of condoms, and I'm like, oh, these are some old rubbers, and then I picked them up, and right on them, the expiry date on those condoms was like a year and a half before I was born or before I was conceived. My dad was out there slinging. I don't even know if you were. How do you even bring that up to your dad? How do you be like, Dad, I found the condoms. They were expired by like a year and a half before I was conceived. So they're like 2.5 years before I was born. These condoms expired. And then I'm like, Dad, did you even bother putting it on, or were you just going with it? Because my mom wasn't that good looking. My mom wasn't like worth just going raw. But that's just my opinion. My dad, he hasn't really dated some lookers for my, like, the woman that he's kind of with now. Oh my God. Like, when I first met her, like, I'd already kind of figured, because my dad's a little bit haggard, kind of didn't look after himself for a lot of years, drank and smoked, and, you know, he was a hoarder, so he didn't clean up his house, and he just had, like, a thing about him. So when he says he has a girlfriend, already my standards are low. But then when I met this girl, I was just like, oh my God. Like, I know most people, the reaction to finding out their parents actually have sex and intercourse, they're like, ew. But when you see what they're having sex and intercourse with, you're like, oh, God, please, no. Please. Anyways, this woman's a mess. This woman's a mess. She literally has been dating my dad for money, and my dad don't got money. It's bad. It's bad. This woman's been fleecing him for years, you know, and now he's starting to mentally decline. So that's been very stressful for me. And luckily, a few days ago, a member of my family, because I didn't want it, I did not want the responsibility of this. I didn't want the family to be like, Jeremy, you're making the wrong decisions. I'm just like, no, let them have it. My dad's sister now is power of attorney for him. So she can't, that whale of a woman can't come in and mess with his finances anymore. It's good. I know I'm just venting about my personal stuff and throwing it on the internet. Why not? It's 2025. Yellowstone isn't real. I mean, the show's canceled, and the volcano's never going to go off. They're just trying to scare us. Anyways, so, yeah. Now I can finally let some of the stuff with my father go. My dad, he for years, you know, he was a dad. He was there for me, take me to hockey games, you know, make sure my car tire isn't flat. But, you know, my dad had a lot of problems. He was a hoarder, not good enough to get on the TV show, but he was a hoarder. Kept shit that even as a 10-year-old, I'm like, why are we keeping this? Why do we need this for? Catch-22 to that, I felt very safe in his home. When I was in my mom's home, I was like, burglars are going to come to get me because I watched Home Alone too many times. But when I was in my dad's home, I was like, nobody's breaking into this house. And even if they do, they're not making it past the kitchen. They'll be like tripping. They're not going to have night vision goggles. They're going to be tripping over shit and be like, what the hell is this place? What did we get into? Nobody wants any of this stuff. So my dad was a hoarder. When I was a kid, I'm like, I felt like I need to fix my father. And that's like the father-son thing, you know? Is the son saving the father from the whale? But I don't know. Jordan Peterson talked about that, like the Pinocchio Geppetto analogy, like Pinocchio saving Geppetto from the whale. I don't know. But yeah, I always wanted to save my father. I wanted him to stop drinking. I wanted him to, like, not be such a prick. My dad was like Red Foreman from that 70s show. You know how, remember Red Foreman? And he'd always tell his son Eric, be like, you're a dumbass. Stop being a dumbass. I'm going to put my foot in your ass, you dumbass. My dad was like that, except it wasn't funny. And he didn't call me a dumbass. He called me a retard. He'd be like, how did I end up with such a retarded kid? It was usually when he was drunk. He'd be like, I'd done something stupid. And he'd be like, oh, how did I end up with such a retard? Anyway, so now it's like, I think he's got Alzheimer's or dementia. So I'm like, who's the retard now, Pops? He'll be like, huh? And I'll be like, I'm looking at buying a plow. Fucking retard. So I wanted to save my father. I always did. And then now I'm in my 30s. I have my own family to look after, and I'm just, you know, the other members of my family, they're going to look after this stuff for him because he doesn't want me to look after. He's got an ego complex. He doesn't want his retarded kid looking after him when, like, he's making stupid decisions. Like with dating a whale. And I'm not, this isn't a slight on weight. You can be a really fat person and be a good person, and you don't deserve to be called a whale. But if you're a fat person and you're a piece of crap, like, she's always like pretending she's a Christian. She's not a Christian. She's just like fleecing this old man for his money. You're a whale then. You're a whale. So I want to save my dad from the whale. Couldn't save him. I couldn't get him to stop drinking. You know, it was the doctor that got him to do that, and couldn't get him to clean his house, and now the city's like condemning the place. I guess the city's going to save him, and I can't save him from this whale, so I let it go. I just got to look at the good things, you know? Appreciate this stuff. My dad taught me how to cut wood and you know, hammer nails and you know, change the oil in my car, and he really demonstrated what good drinking and driving was. Didn't see that one coming, did you? Yeah, no, my dad was a great drunk driver. You know, lots of people that I knew growing up with, They had like DUIs. I know people that died from drinking and driving, people that I'd be at school with, and then go to school on Monday. It's like, did you hear they died in an accident? And then some of them are just like, well, they were an asshole, so okay. I mean, I care, but anyways, my dad was a good drunk driver, and he wasn't just like driving with the ball. It was just like he'd start to get a little bit of a buzz on, and then I'd know that's my opportunity to be like, hey, Dad, can we go rent a movie and maybe get a pizza or something? And then he would be like, all right. And I'd be like, hey, Dad, can we take the old Corvette? The inspection's out. It's not really fit for the road, but he can make it work. And he'd be like, I don't know. And I'd be like, come on. And because of that little alcohol in him, he'd be like, all right, fine. He'd get his little styrofoam cup and mix his little rum and Coke. Yeah. And never spilt a drop. Never spilt a drop. It was an automatic Corvette. Still a Corvette, though. The roof would be off. We'd be going up to the gas station to rent a movie and get a pizza from the pizza shack that would be in there. And he'd just have this little styrofoam cup not very far from the top. It would be like filled up, and he's just driving. You can hear the V8 rumbling and just this cup going and just these light little sips. And I'm like, that's a man. That's a man. That was my example growing up. I was like, that's a man right there. Drinking and driving, taking his son to get a movie. So you tell that story to people, and they're like, "That's terrible." No, it's not. It's a great wholesome Canadian moment. It's not going to be like a heritage moment, but for me, it's my own heritage moment. Dad drinking and driving, going to get me a movie. Never crashed. Never did anything. He only recently had an accident a while ago because he's mentally incapable of driving now, and everybody in the family's like telling him to stop driving. He's like, whatever, and he ended up writing off his car in his driveway. Great turn of events. Where everybody in the family's like worried. I was like, oh, geez, he really shouldn't be driving. And then he calls me. He's just like, yeah, brakes went out in the car as I was going down the driveway, and he drove his old car down, not the Corvette, thankfully, drove his old car down into the driveway and drove face first into his truck. Wrote both vehicles off. Can't drive anymore. It's like the universe he didn't get hurt. Nobody got hurt. The cars were done. Good for him. Totally sober, too. So it's like a weird thing. It's like he's drinking and driving, no accidents. Quits drinking for like 6 years, then writes off both vehicles in a driveway. Anyways, who's the retard now, Pops? Look at me. Filming my podcast in my studio. The fly left. I don't even have a fly here now. It is what it is, folks. Anyways, you ever watch an old movie with friends and you're like, this is going to be really good, guys. I remember this movie. And then you vouch for this movie that you haven't seen in 20 years. I don't have friends. I have a few friends. You might meet them. But I decided that I was like, you know what? I'm going to show my family the movie Spaceballs. Because the new one's coming out. There's supposed to be a new Spaceballs, just like there's Happy Gilmore 2. We already saw Happy Gilmore, so we're going to watch Happy Gilmore 2. Should be a good movie. But Spaceballs 2 is coming out, so I'm like, we should watch Spaceballs 2. And just like every time that you're like, hey, I'm going to watch that old movie, and then you go on all the streaming things that you pay for, and the movie isn't even there, and you're like, why am I paying for these things when every time I want to watch a movie, I just end up having to illegally download it or like rent it from Amazon? Either way, we make a whole thing of it. I download the movie. We're like, this night, we're all going to watch Spaceballs. And a few people that I told, I was like, hey, I'm going to show the family Spaceballs. They're like, cool. They're like, yeah, that was a big movie. Cool. That'll be awesome. And then you watch it with your friends or your family, the movie that you vouched for, that you made the plans to watch, that you in your head, you're like, that was a good movie. I'm just going to say it. Spaceballs sucked. It sucked. It had some funny references, and they were like, oh, cool, yeah, I get that, because I was around in that time, and I get those references and what they're making fun of. I get that. But I could tell, like, 15 minutes in, I'm, like, looking at them, and they're like, I know that they're, like, they're taking my word for it. They're like, oh, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. And then 30 minutes, and then an hour, I lose two of them. They just get up and they're like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I'm like trying to bribe them. I was like, "Do you want ice cream? There's nothing that'll make them stay to finish this movie." God damn it. Spaceballs. Spaceballs sucks. It's just time. It's the same thing with all my father's crap and all these old things that we want to revamp. The only good part of like that second Star Wars sequel, when the Kylo Ren guy like looks at the Rey girl and it's just like tells her something about like letting the past die. And I remember being in the movie theater being like, "Oh my God, that's so profound. Yeah. Yeah. This is like a message to us," because we're sitting there trying to recreate our childhood. Yes, let the past die. Let it die. There's no way that Spaceballs 2 is going to be good. I'm saying that now, and then it's going to be awesome. No. Just let it die. Get a life. Stop watching things. I just watched the Dexter prequel, and the whole show, I'm like, all right, this isn't bad, but that's what my standard is of good now, is like it's not bad. The whole show is like they end on these cliffhangers, and I'm like, obviously Dexter isn't getting arrested at the swamp. He there's a show about his whole life afterwards. Like, if you're going to do a prequel, you got to do it right. You can't end on cliffhangers. It's got to be like. And then it took the hold with the dad and stuff. I was like, this is stupid. Why am I still watching this stuff? Why can't I get a life? I need a life. Here I go. I'm just ranting, guys. I'm just ranting. Do you think making a podcast is easy? You, right there, behind the camera. Do you think that making a podcast is easy? It's not that bad, actually. It's not that hard. I think it was mostly just my procrastination, I hope this video gets more views than the last video, but I'm not going to be emotionally invested in that. I have other things that I have going on. I was supposed to open for a comedian, Jason Rouse? I don't even know who he is. Anyways, that show got canceled because the Maritimes, I guess, isn't buying tickets. We can't get our stuff sold on Marketplace, so we can't buy tickets to these shows. So then he canceled his whole Maritime leg of his tour. So he was going to be the second comedian that I was going to open for that I really didn't know who he was before I was asked to open for him. And then, like, other comedian friends, I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to open for this guy." And they're like, "Wow, that's awesome." And I'm being like, "Yeah, I'm glad you think so." I thought it was cool. I'm like, I want to open for people, but I'm not like a comedy fan. I'm not one of these diehard fans. I'm done being a fan. I'm letting the past die. I'm doing my own thing. I'm just living the life. Living it and doing what I can do, whether I'm living under a Canadian flag or an American flag. What happened to this invasion? I mean, everybody was all like hyped and they're just like, yeah, elbows up. We're going to fight Trump. And I'm like, honestly, I just want a doctor. I mean, if they invade and take us over and I can get access to healthcare, I mean, I know it'll be like contingent on me having a job, but like I have a job and I don't have a doctor. And then there's people in the States, they have jobs, and then therefore they get to go see a doctor. So I was like, maybe it won't be that bad. But the invasion didn't happen. We just got a bunch of crap talk, and we're going to war with Iran. I guess we're not doing this. We got a new prime minister in Canada. He looks like Duck Phillips from Mad Men. As soon as I saw him right away, I was like, that's Duck Phillips. So if we can keep him away from the Scotch and the secretaries, maybe the country will be okay. But, I mean, it hasn't changed really that much. I mean, every time there's an election, it's always like things are going to change. And then they put Trump in, and a few things have changed. I'm not saying for the good. I'm not saying for the bad. This isn't a political podcast. I'm not getting into politics here. You guys get upset about whatever you want to get upset about. This is a place of peace and love. And I had something else I was going to do, and I lost it. I had it mentally written down in my head, and then I just let it go. We should get to another one of our sponsors. This coffee cup, I had two identical ones, and the other one broke the other day, and then this one's here. I really love a sponsor. You can't get Tim Dillon to sell out. You can't get Joe Rogan to sell it because they already have money. I don't have any money right now. So if you want to get me to sell out, right now is the time. Get it on the ground floor. All right, my camera sometimes overheats. It's still running right now. I hope it's okay. The microphone. This isn't a condenser microphone. This isn't a professional studio. I don't have a producer sitting over there in the corner. I got a kit like a laundry sink with a tent on top of it, and I got a snowmobile engine right there, and then I got my old snowmobile right there, and we don't even have any snow. Either way, I mean, I was kind of excited to become America as a little kid. I'm just going to say it. Hate me if you want, but as a little kid, I was like, I want to live in America because all the movies I watched were America, and America was like the land of the free, and Canada was like, we got donuts. That's all. But as a kid, I mean, I learned more as I went on. We got a view, too. We got a beautiful view. Like, our homeless are on waterfront. It's beautiful. No matter how poor you are, you have a view. It's not bad. But as a kid, I was like, I always wanted to be in America. I was like, yeah, when I get older, I'm gonna have a fucking car and a gun. It's gonna be awesome. Now I don't even have a doctor. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm gonna get some guests on this show over the next few weeks. Some friends of mine that I'd like to get up here, so you'll see the stage is gonna change a little bit. Right now, I just got this flimsy table. I got this table from Costco. Like, screw it. Yeah, it's one of those little Costco tables. It's a good one. It's not the one with the little break in the middle that eventually starts sagging. It's a hefty, solid table. I like it. Did I just max my mic out? No, I'm fine. Either way, we're good. We're good. We're running a really good ship here, all right? I got the Costco table, the snowmobile engine, the 14-year-old MacBook, this microphone. It's a good mic. I like this mic. I bring it to comedy shows. I run a show on the north side of Fredericton called This Might Be Funny, and this is my mic that I use at that show. It's a good mic. It's a damn good mic. God, I had something and I didn't. I have little cue cards up there because I have ADHD and I've had some head injury, so I forget things. So I have to write it down. I just write the little prompt and then all the other stuff's in my head, but then I didn't write that one down before I got up here, so it's just gone. I'm going to turn off the mic and then remember what it was that I was going to do. It is what it is. Oh, yeah. So I've been doing comedy for 2.5 years now. It's good. It's going good. When I started 2.5 years ago, if I could go back and tell that guy, I'd be like, hey, you're gonna open for like Darren Frost, you're gonna open for the Danger Cats, you're almost gonna open for Jason Rouse, so you don't know who it is right now, but you're gonna find out he's a pretty cool guy. I've been on the comedy clubs in my province. There's 2 of them, Punchlines and Comic Sutra. I performed at both of them. I went and performed at a thing called the Salmon Festival in Campbellton there a couple weeks ago. It was great. It was like I could stay in a hotel room. I got to go on a vacation and not lose money on a vacation. I came home with a few bucks in my pocket, but I had a good weekend. Things are going really good. And I've eaten some shit. Believe me, I've eaten some shit. I've from the get-go, I had a long-term mentality of like, you know what? I want to create act. I want to have an act that like that is more than just the 10 or 15 minute thing that I can just get up and get some laughs. I was like, I want to be a long-term comedian. I want to make a life at this. All right? I was suspended from school countless times. I was permanently kicked out of sex ed. I did a lot of stupid things in school. Everything in that journey points to comedian. The times that I got arrested, really funny situations, and maybe in future episodes I'll talk about those times that I was arrested, my interactions with law enforcement. So many stupid things. The last time I took mushrooms, I called the ambulance on myself and ended up in the hospital. And the girl that I was talking to on Tinder was like my attending nurse, and I'm there whacked out of my mind on mushrooms, and I had to pee, but they weren't going to let me leave the bed because I was kind of a flight risk. I'd already like tried to escape once, so she like gave me this cup, and then I'm sitting there holding my wiener and holding the cup and being like, how do I pee in this? And then the nurse lady who I'd been talking to on Tinder's like laughing at me. My life has been a joke, okay? So I knew that going into comedy. I was like, this is my path. This is my long-term path. And I've seen people come and go in this short period of time that I've been doing it. I had one guy who was like, me and him were getting to be pretty good friends. And he had a funny act. It was the same every single time. He would get up, do his same act. People would be like, "Ha," and they'd be laughing, and I'd get up there and I'd jokes that I'd been doing, and then some new jokes, and then I'd tweak some of them a little bit and do them in a different order. And then I'd always try to have new jokes in my set. Unless it was like a ticketed show or something people really paid money for, then I'd go out and try to do my best. But otherwise, if it was an open mic, whatever it was, I was always like trying to get new. I want more. I want to have new material. I want that hour. I want that perfect hour. And then this guy's, whether it was an open mic or it was a ticketed show, it was the same act every single time. Anyways, come to find out, this guy's been trash talking me for a while, trash talking some of my friends. He would trash talk my friends to me, and then I'd just be like, you're a negative guy, but whatever. We all have our faults. I was an idiot and took mushrooms and called the ambulance on myself. We all make mistakes. Anyway, so this guy's like running his mouth about me, and I'm just like, whatever, disown this guy. And then I had a bunch of people coming to me and be like, hey, I found a bunch of his jokes online. Maybe some of them were his jokes. I don't know. Either way, it was kind of vindicating. Because there'd be times that I would go to a mic in another place, and then he would be there, me and him would be there, and I would get out there and do my best. Not my best material, but like my best, put my best foot forward, and like to be some new material, some old material, and then he would get up there and do the exact same act that he'd been doing for like a year and a half. And then after the show, people would come up, and they go to him and be like, "You're hilarious, man. You were so funny." And they look at me and be like, "And you did good too, man." And I'd be like, "Yeah, so come and see me again. Come and see him again. You tell the difference." Anyway, so now I don't know. He deleted and blocked me. He betrayed me. Betrayed. I feel betrayed, man. It is what it is, though. I've let it go. I'm watching The Godfather tonight. Never seen The Godfather. I've heard it's a good movie, but I guess that has some elements of betrayal in it. And I'm going to watch that movie and then move on from you and that whole episode of things. It's a journey. I know. I'm going to look back. There's going to be other comedy friends that I'm going to have and then not have, and then people are going to like get a life. Like I know lawyers. I know people that are lawyers that are doing this. And someday they're going to be like, I'm a serious lawyer right now. I can't be associating with you people. And then I'll be like, I'll give them a hug and be like, you do your best. I'm going to make you proud because I'm not quitting. I ain't. Oh. I burped on my own podcast for the first time. But I ain't got no quit. I ain't quitting. I'm not stopping. It is what it is. All right, maybe we'll wrap that up here now. We went 10 minutes longer than the last show. So quick sum up here. The Spaceballs sucked, I guess. I mean, it wasn't for the family. It doesn't really hold up for the family. I was unable to save my father from the whale, figuratively and literally, but my family is. And my dad was a good drunk driver. That's a good point that I made on the shows. My dad's a good drunk driver. And the invasion, I guess, didn't happen. I mean, America didn't come in. They're dealing with their own problems right now, especially if the Yellowstone does go off. Then they're just gone. So who knows? I was hoping if they did like invade, we could just like kind of rebrand this whole thing to begin with, right? Because some of the tropes are getting a little bit old. Land of the free, home of the brave. I mean, have you been to a Costco recently? It's not that brave. People are like passive aggressively fighting each other over like samples. It's not brave. We're falling out here. Anyways, I thought it'd be really cool if we could just rebrand. If because Canada's, we've just been like, we got Maple, we got this. We've been like pushing a fake brand. Tim Hortons is done. They're old. They're out. It's like, let's just rebrand this whole continent. That was supposed to be the thing when I was in high school. That was the big thing. Was we're gonna have George W. Bush. That's what he was doing. He was going to have this like North American Union. That was like when every time I go to my weed guy and I'd buy pot, and he's like, that George W. Bush Jr. He's going to combine Canada and Mexico and the United States as like one thing, and we're going to have like one currency, and we're going to be one country. And I was like, okay, that's not bad. I mean, I don't like getting frisked at the border. I don't even have a passport right now. You know, I'd love to be able to just hop in my car on a whim and just be like, let's go to Florida. I don't know. People have like they're patriotic and they're like Canada for life, and I'm like, I just want a doctor, man. I just want a doctor. If Canada, the United States became one, kick some ass. We give them some beer and we give them some weed. They can like, give us some cool cars and some guns. I don't know. Could be something. We make a brand new national anthem. A brand new national anthem. It'd be kick ass. Here's my suggestion for an American national anthem. Well, the casino lights flash and the strippers shaking their ass. Heroin and coke are everywhere. Homeless too, no one cares. 'Cause it's all about who's who. Hollywood and Washington goons. Hear it first, live tonight. Big titty blonde news at 9. So grab that AR-15 Bud Light, pack of darts and Springsteen. This is the Jeremy Scott Program. See you guys next week.